Welcome to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. You've built a thriving career, led teams, and shattered ceilings. But now that chapter has closed. What comes next? Unknowns in the next chapter is a conversation for a woman who's ever felt stuck after success, who's ready to rediscover herself and reignite her spark. Today, we'll explore how to rediscover passion, purpose, and possibility after a high powered career. From redefining success to creating joy in new surroundings, this episode celebrates reinvention at any age. Because your next chapter isn't about slowing down, it's about lighting up what's next. To discuss her retirement journey and find out how she reignited that spark, I'm joined by Cindy Crean, the CEO of Her Next Chapter. Cindy, welcome to Empowered. Good to see you again.
And good to see you too, Liz. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here too. And I want to just jump right in because I know there are a lot of women that are struggling with what's next. So, what were you thinking of in terms of your next chapter when you first retired from corporate life?
Well, I start was thinking that I would jump right in there and consult. I really wanted to consult, and I think part of it was the connection to my identity in my career in financial services. So, believe it or not, I actually built a PowerPoint presentation before I retired, and this was to position myself to continue to do some consulting. And I had done a lot of work in gender equality in financial services, specifically in full service brokerage. So that's what I would wanted to continue to do. But what was kind of conflicting with that is I've spent a lot of time up north. We have a farm. I love the outdoors. And I thought I want to spend a lot of time up north as well. So this is where my headset was when I retired.
So, I know you and I had the discussion just before you retired, and you were talking about your plan, but how and why did you make the decision to retire?
Well, Liz, it wasn't an easy one, and I probably was on the younger end of retirement. I retired at the age of 61, and I felt like I was at the top of my career at that time, and I had a really great team. I was doing some work that I loved, but I felt in the back of my mind that there was sort of something itching there, and I was feeling like in a year from now, I might start to lose my passion from my job. But there were other factors at play as well. I was looking after aging parents, and I felt like I was really kind of struggling with my time, wanting to spend more time to care for them, but wanting to continue to focus on my career. So I took a hard look at the situation and I thought, maybe it's time for me to retire. And my husband and I sat down with our financial advisor. We did a stress test on our financial plan. I have that background, but I really needed to know that we would be okay. And we decided that I could do it. So I decided to pull the plug.
So, okay, what recommendations did others give you? And when you first retired or just prior to retirement? And the other question is, did you listen to them?
Well, people are full of advice, right, for other people. And specifically, when I retired, the advice I got was you should really take a year or 2 off, and I'm listening to that and I'm going, "What are you talking about? A year or 2 off? Me? I'm not gonna do that. I know exactly what retirement looks like for me. I'm a planner." And, I just was not listening to their advice at all. I figured I didn't need that time. I was gonna jump back in and continue on with my identity and do some consulting.
Okay, so you didn't listen to them. Did it change your life in
Yeah.
any way, or did it change your plans, or you just kept going on as planned, that your plans?
Yes, I just kept going on as planned. As I said, I'm a planner. I had a PowerPoint presentation already, and I think the day I retired, I just kept I started phoning people and I fully expected to jump in. But as I said, it was a little bit of conflict going on there because I wanted to spend more time up north and you can kind of sense where the conflict was coming from.
Right. And you had a life changing event shortly after you left corporate life. And when we come back from this break, you're going to tell us what happened because it's an aha moment for everyone. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic is unknowns in the next chapter. So, Cindy, before we went to break, we were talking about something that happened to you. You had a life changing event shortly after you left corporate life. Can you please explain to everyone what that was?
Yeah, I sure can. And it wasn't great at the time. About 5 weeks after I retired, my husband and I decided to take a trip to Europe. I was planning on being there for about a month. And about a week and a half into our trip, when we were in Greece, we got a phone call at about 12:30 at night. And my husband's phone just kept kind of vibrating, and finally thought, I guess I should answer this. And our house up north was on fire, and it was ablaze. And people were phoning us and letting us know about that. And it was certainly very heartbreaking. This is a place that we've had since 2007, a place that I plan to retire to, and our heart and our souls were in that house. And it was obvious from the frantic phone calls that we received that we were going to lose everything. Very difficult news to get when you're thousands of miles away.
It's very difficult news to have, even if you're 5 minutes away. It's devastating. But I want to ask you, how did this event shape the next chapter of your life?
Well, it certainly did shape the next chapter, from the sense that I was stopped in my tracks. I didn't have time to focus on trying to build a consulting career. I actually didn't even really have time to care for my parents. I had to hand over some of that responsibility, and I was purely focused on our insurance claim and rebuilding our lives, and also focused on trying to deal with this grief. I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens to someone else, it doesn't happen to you. And it's just one of those shocking events where you wake up every morning and go, wow, our house burned down. Did that really, really happen to me? And how are we going to gather ourselves up and move on? So I was very focused on dealing with that.
Well, it's devastating. And you're right. I mean, nobody ever wants
Absolutely.
this to happen to themselves. But Cindy, where would you be in the next chapter if it wasn't for this event?
Well, it's interesting, Liz. So this is, this happened 3 years ago. It's actually almost to the date. And I think I look back now, and I think that it was a good thing that it happened. And that seems like a weird thing to say, but as I said, it stopped me in my tracks, and it forced me to appreciate what is really important to me. The kind of support that we got from our friends was just incredible, the emotional support. But also, it forced me to take some time to really think about what was important to me through this time of going through the rebuild and the insurance claim. There was something happened, and it was really weird. It's like I kind of shed this identity that I had as in my corporate career, and it just forced me to listen to some of the advice I had received from other people, and to listen to my heart and what was really important to me.
So while you were shedding your identity, what have you actually learned about yourself in the past 3 years?
Uh, I realized that I did not want to continue to consult at all. In fact, I did. It was funny. I did have I remember I had an opportunity, and I was speaking to the organization about it. And every time I talked to them, I had this pit in my stomach. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I do not want to consult. I want to move on from my career. I would like to spend almost 100% of my time up north and build my community up there. And I didn't want to continue to consult in financial services. And it was tough to learn this lesson, but I'm kind of happy that it happened that way.
And Cindy, everybody who has a professional career, or has had a professional career for a long
Yeah.
time, always thinks that they know exactly how they're going to retire, what they're going to do. But, life has these moments that change, and those changes in our lives change absolutely everything. And I'm not saying that this is good, but this is good for your heart, as you were saying before, and it helped mold you into who you are now and doing what you'd like to do. Please don't go away. We'll be right back with more Cindy and her story of retiring. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic is unknowns in the next chapter. Cindy, as women, we always like to say yes to things. But how has saying no to things helped you at this time?
Well, I think it kind of starts with getting comfortable with what you really want in your life and at this point in your chapter, of this next chapter in your life. And I had started a couple of things in the city, a couple of women's groups in the city that I thought were really important to me. And after a while, after this happened, I went, I don't really want to keep going back to the city, and it just wasn't in my heart to continue to work with these groups that I had started. So I said no to that, and I started thinking some of the non-negotiables for me are I really do want to focus on my community up north. And I remember a friend of mine gave me some advice and he said, Cindy, don't try to straddle two places. You're never going to feel completely at home or yourself at this next stage if you're constantly driving back and forth, just like I was in my career. So saying no to things became really, really important. And there you have to listen to your heart.
I love the fact that you said that because I've known you for many years now. And
Mhm.
the last time I saw you was a few months ago. And there was a change in you. You had this sparkle, and you didn't have that stress and the plan that you had. You were completely different. And I love the fact that you're sharing this with people, because I think a lot of women are going through the same thing or have been through the same thing and are still struggling. But I want to ask you, how have you adjusted to a change in your living environment in this next chapter? Because it's not an easy adjustment.
It isn't an easy adjustment, and I went from, bustling downtown Toronto to, I'm on 15 acres and kind of the middle of nowhere. I mean, I'm close to a town, but we only were up here on the weekends, and now all of a sudden I'm up here full time, and I have a lot of friends up here, but it wasn't enough. Like, you're not just socializing all the time. You have to build an identity. And I found I had to really get out there. And if I was going to have a life up here, I had to create it myself. So there's lots of groups out there that you can join. But one of the things I did, and it was a really bold move, I put a post on the community Facebook page. And I said, I am looking for some like minded people. And I wasn't specific about women, but of course I got all women, which is fine. And I was looking for like-minded people to kind of explore this next stage in our lives together, to share our wisdom, to inspire each other, and I had an overwhelming response to this. And we're 2.5, we'll be 3 years this summer in, to this, and, we are still meeting monthly, and I've met some amazing, inspiring women, and they keep thanking me for bringing them all together. So it's yeah, you have to make things happen and get out there.
You know what? I love the fact that you said that. I was just on a call with a younger woman who said that, she needs to network, and she doesn't really feel comfortable enough to, because she hasn't surrounded herself with enough like minded women that they can share ideas and bounce ideas off of each other. And she had said to me that, oh, she just wants to go and sign up with, I don't know, an app or whatever. And I said, no, you need to create your community and you need to grow that
Mhm.
community. And I love the fact that you just went out there and put it on Facebook, and now you've got your new community. And that's one of the key things that happen here on Empowered. Every woman who comes on talks about how important community is and how important we need that community to build not only ourselves, but the women that we've surrounded ourselves with.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's really important. And as I talked a little bit about the emotional support that I received from friends, and what that's one thing I carry with me, how important it is to support each other and have that community. Whether we're celebrating things or whether we're helping people through really tough times in their lives, it's important to have that community.
I agree. So when we come back, we'll talk about what you've done that continues to shape who you are at this stage in your life. So please don't go away. We'll be come back. We'll be right back with more of Cindy's story during her retirement. Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski. Today's topic is unknowns in the next chapter, and I'm joined by Cindy Crean, CEO of My Next Chapter. Cindy, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I feel like it's the two of us hanging out downtown on Bay Street, catching up over a coffee.
Me
So,
too. It's
yeah,
been great so far.
you know what? It has. So let's continue. Like, what have you done that continues to shape who you are at this stage in your life?
Well, I think what is really important is to be kind to yourself. And what I mean by that is I still have my days, and I'm 3 years in. I still have my days where I'm like, "What am I doing?" And, I have my off days, and I have to just be kind to myself and say, "That's okay. You're going to have days like that where you're feeling off, just like when you're working." But the difference is you're kind of on your own, to work through some of that. So I do find ways, to do a yoga class. I don't meditate, but yoga is my meditation. I find that really helps with that. But I'm also very proactive. I reach out to people and say, "Do you want to go for a coffee? Do you want to go for a hike? Do you want to go for a bike ride or go out skiing?" Like, I think there's lots of other people who are sitting at home going, "What am I going to do this week?" Or "What am I going to do today?" And I don't get a lot of no's when I reach out to people. The other
Well,
thing I've
mhm.
done is sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. The other thing you've done.
The other thing I've done is I started volunteering. I've always wanted to volunteer, and I volunteered for a, community outreach program who has a treasure shop. It's like a thrift shop, and it's you'd laugh. I mean, Liz, you know me, but for people who don't know me, I do not thrift shop. I don't have the patience for it, and I'm a complete germaphobe. So I am working in a thrift shop now, and I absolutely love it. The sense of community with the other volunteers in this thrift shop and seeing how it operates and all the customers that come in and engaging with them is just so amazing. And I'm like cashier assistant and greeter. So there's no ego there. And I absolutely love this. Like, I don't need people to know where I came from or what I've done. I'm just enjoying this
I love that.
volunteering.
I love that for you too, because after everything that you've been through, this is an incredible part of your life now. And I really like the fact that you're doing that. Now, what are critical areas in your life that need to be fulfilled at this time?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I'm still learning on this one. For me, a non-negotiable, as you know, is I love to stay active. So sometimes when I'm active, I'm doing it on my own. Other times I'm doing it with other people. But I find I also have to push myself to be proactive again, to get some challenges and to get some connection in the community, as I talked about before, because it's easy to spend day after day after day doing your own thing and not being engaged in the community.
So, Cindy, how do you make things happen to continue to grow at this stage? I know that you reach out to people, but you've got to do something from within.
I love that you said that, Liz, because it's so much. I was thinking about this today as I was exploring these questions again and reviewing, and I'm going, I I have a lot of time now to really think about what is important to me. And when I have those days that I feel off, I will go, what is missing? What is missing? What have I not been doing? Maybe I haven't been out in nature enough. And if I can't find someone to go for a hike with, I go out in nature on my own. And an hour later, I feel so much better. Or maybe I haven't had coffee with friends, or I haven't reached out to my mom. I haven't reached out to my sister. Like, I really try to take stock. Or maybe I just miss the downtime, which is like downtime for me. Like, I never had downtime, and I'm telling you, I have never read so much in my entire life. Like, I'm reading so many books, and I'm loving it, and also doing things like this, Liz, just really make me feel like I'm giving back.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cindy. Cindy's words of wisdom to you are be open and curious at this stage. Don't let your career define who you are once you move on. Draw upon your strengths and use them in different ways. I'm Elizabeth Naumovski, and I'm here to empower you and make frugality fashionable. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was really helpful to you. Bye for now.